Hello, Grand Strand. It's Richard Florzak, private chef to the stars. Welcome back to Talking About Food. Remember, it's the only food commentary show on the Grand Strand. We talk about everything. We talk about everything. As long as it has some sort of connection to food, we will talk about it, because I always say nothing brings people together as much as great food. And speaking of great food, I got a chef sitting in front of me who produces great food. Not only great food, he produces beautiful food. It's what first attracted me to his cooking. I saw a number of posts he did. Oh God, this is going back now probably at least a year. He's been on the show before, but I used to say that he has the most beautiful plate presentation, which I want to talk to him about. Hope we don't lose listeners. It's going to be interesting to both of us. I hope it is to you. His name is Chef Curtis Hillard, also known as Chef Bear. Curtis, welcome back to Talking About Food.
Thank you so much. It's so good to be back.
Yeah, I love getting together with you. Speaking of getting together, I fleshed this out before you got here, because you and I did an evening at Bourbon and Burns, which is in Pawleys Island, which is they call it a bourbon bar. They serve other things, but it's a cigar lounge, which until you mentioned it to me, I didn't even know it existed, and I am so glad you turned me on to that. But I thought to myself, well, how are we going to be able to, get this on the show, because it's bourbon and cigars. But it wasn't until we got there that we realized that the proprietor was saying that we can order food from next door, which is
Pawleys Island Raw Bar. I'm sorry, Tap House.
Pawleys Island. It's a slightly different name because I had to.
Yeah, I think it's a Tap House.
Tap House and Grill.
Yeah. Yep. Well, the owners own both places, so.
Oh, cool. I didn't know. That is so cool.
They're new owners too. I believe they just purchased that just recently.
Yeah, so you could go into this. I felt it was a bit classy. I like that.
But, yeah, it was really nice.
Yeah, but I mean, they specialize in bourbon, obviously, and cigars. But you can
Which
also
we both love.
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
I do anyway.
Yeah, well, I adore cigars. But yeah, I mean, you could go. Friendly people were there. I mean, I had to leave before you, and we were just talking off the air when I asked you how long did you stay after that. You said about an hour, and we were talking to strangers at the bar.
I'm not a very shy guy, and we were around like-minded people, cigars and bourbon, and then a couple of people recognized who I was, and they were asking about some of the stuff I was doing, and of course, I'm going to talk about it a little bit,
as you should, definitely.
But we're really like the back part of the place where they have the couches and everything, where it's kind of secluded.
Yeah,
from the bar.
It was a separate room, and the only reason why I chose that is because I knew we would be, talking about important stuff. I think, and it was a little bit quieter back there, but it's not like it was loud up front.
No.
We had
it's
a couple of
good
TVs
little
and
getaway
stuff
back there if you want to just kind of sit on some couches and watch TV or.
But
or
that type of place, I don't know how you feel, could easily be a once a week place for me.
Yeah. Are you taking me with you? Because I would love to.
Of course. I'm not going to go smoke by myself.
Well, one of the things I was doing, trying to do originally with the former owners was actually do a bourbon dinner, or like just some type of food that I could serve with bourbon. We were talking about what I could do. And I believe because of the transition with the new owners coming in, it never really came together, but I'm going to see if I can work with the new owners and maybe put something together. That would be really cool.
Give me some idea. Like, what are some of the ideas that you have?
Well, starting with utilizing whatever bourbons they would want to have me use up, but I would try and incorporate that into some type of tapas menu. It's not a very big place, so you can't really have like a plate up dinner. So the menu would have to be small plates. So I'm thinking probably, I'd love this one bacon board that I did.
A bacon board?
Yeah, I had a group of guys, 8 guys. I've done work for them before, and the husband said the husband mentioned that he was going to have 8 guys out playing golf one day, and I said, well, I'll do a dinner for you. So I came up with a bacon board. So I had 3 different types of bacon. Well, one was a pork belly that I did, sous vide this pork belly, and then I did a Cajun rub on it, and the other bacon was applewood smoked, but then I finished it with just straight grated horseradish, and then baked it in. And then the other one was a peppercorn maple bacon. And then I had accompaniments with it, like, things like smoked cipollini onions and some grain mustards and some things that go along with it. So you do a mini size version of that with maybe like a little piece of brioche, but maybe the maple peppercorn bacon could be a bourbon maple peppercorn.
Oh, interesting.
Just incorporate the bourbon.
Right, that's how you would marry it together.
Something like that. Just off the top of my head, that's one of the things I would try to do. But then also there's dessert that you could go crazy with.
Yeah.
But it could be, I've done like these cheesecake parfait cups. Mm-hmm. And then if a layer was like a bourbon caramel, it doesn't have to be towards like, 5 sauces and 10 feet tall. It's just really good flavor. Yeah. If you're going to do a cheesecake with bourbon, just make it really, really good.
Yeah.
I've been trying to make sure that whatever I do, it's really concentrating on the natural flavor of something instead of having it be muddled with all these foo-foo, high idea, look at me kind of stuff. Let's just get down to the good stuff. When you take a bite, this is what it is.
Which is such a great segue into my next question. And this is where I hope we don't lose some of the listeners. But
listeners, don't go anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? I think for the novice, the home cook, this really needs to be talked about. I just hope that it translates audibly, and that is plate presentation.
Oh, yeah.
Because you and I have had this discussion, is cooking an art? I think we both understand that we have different opinions of that. I'm on the fence. I'm not one way or the other, although I do lean towards it not being art. But it's just my opinion as of right now. You believe it's an art, and I respect that. But the way I look at it is, if we're going to look at it from an art point of view, you've got your preparation work, which is similar to like choosing your paints, choosing your ingredients, mixing them together like you would mix paint, actually cooking, which would be the actual painting of the art piece of it. And then the final plate presentation is the actual work of art that somebody might hang on their wall, although you can't hang a plate on your wall. My question to you is, where do you begin? When thinking, I'll step back just for a second so that I'm sure you understand what I'm getting at. Forget about what you may be cooking. I mean, you can give me an example, but when you're preparing food, I'm assuming, because this is what I do, I have an image in mind of what I want that to look like. So from your point of view, where does that begin?
Well, first, I would like to thank you for all of your artful references to the art that I believe that we do in cooking, because I believe it's an artful presentation that you could have when you're presenting food.
Right.
Now, is it actual art? We can debate that, but what it comes down to is when I'm thinking about a plate, and it really depends on the client, and I think about saying, what I'm doing now is being a personal chef. Everyone expects something different from me, whether it's a family style meal or they want that almost Michelin star experience. It really depends on what the client and what the guests are expecting. But if you're just talking about me coming up, say I'm doing a pop-up dinner, it's my own menu I'm coming up with.
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I want to make sure we get to the answer to my question. And maybe I should have been more specific. If you were going to showcase Chef Curtis Hillard, Chef Bear, where do you begin to concoct the presentation in your mind?
Well, I'm a very visual person. And starting off with obviously what the ingredients are going to be.
And you can give me an example. You could say.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about that right now because, I mean, the first thing that pops into my mind is like lamb. I don't know why, but if I was just creating a lamb dish. I mean, there's things you have to keep in mind with the preparation of what you're doing because there's different ways to go about, let's say, doing a lamb dish. And it could be a boneless one, it could be a rack of lamb. If you're trying to keep the plate really clean. Now, I would love to think that my approach starts with what I would want the plate to eventually look like with colors. You have to have color. With something you have dark meat like that. Mint is something that is synonymous with lamb.
With lamb, right.
So keeping that in mind, just for instance, because now you have the color green that you can work with. Using something like a sweet pea flan that has a little bit of a mint influence to it.
Right.
So
you're sticking with that traditional lamb accompanied by some sort of mint flavor. Makes perfect sense to me.
And then just being creative with what you can do with the accompaniments that go along with it, that makes sense. Yeah, so I would definitely try to utilize, like I said, the mint in the sweet pea flan. And then maybe also some heirloom baby carrots. That's also a nice color. I would probably end up blanching those or maybe slightly pickling them just to have a little acidity, but also some sweetness at the end, and then grill mark them so there's some nice charred grill marks. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I would start. You know, I always practice if I have a dish like that. I'll do 3 or 4 different versions, and then I'll sit back and think about.
So you will actually plate 3 different versions of this.
If I'm trying to create a dish, yeah, you have to go through the exercise of plating up something in different ways. It helps you perfect it. Because also, too, you know, if you make the lamb, you make the flan or whatever it is, and you go to taste it, because then taste finalizes everything.
Right.
No matter how good it looks and the colors are there and all that stuff, if it doesn't taste well, you're not in the right
and just for the listeners, because you often hear this phrase, flavor profile. That's what you were just discussing, correct?
Yes,
okay.
Yes. And I would just go about it in a way that I knew it makes sense for me. And then there's the progression of what the next plate's going to be. Because if you have a particular flavor that's a very lingering, bold flavor, you have to consider the next plate so that it's something that goes really well as you progress to the next plate.
Right.
You have to consider that as well. So there's a lot of stuff to consider. Sometimes I get in my own head about, you know, the different types of food I can do. I've done so many different things with so many different types of plating that sometimes it's hard for me to decide.
Yeah.
But it's also good to have people to come and try what you're doing because it allows you to get an honest feedback as to what you're creating.
Yeah, and I certainly understand that. However, and you did a great job of it. I'm focused on the actual plate presentation. So whatever you had before or after, maybe for your next appearance on the show, as to make sure that there is a coherent flow of how one course goes with the next and so on. The actual positioning, and this I'm really hoping that we can do this audibly. The actual positioning of items on the plate itself. Because you know this, but I'm just saying it for the listeners. You could have the sort of rustic down home approach where, they're not even necessarily cleaning the edge of the plate before they put it down. Or you could have what I call the modern art presentation where the items are so small and positioned in a way that it makes people feel uncomfortable. They don't even want to eat it. They don't want to touch it.
Well, I think I've tried to fall in that happy medium right in the middle. You can get very artful, and I think that has a place sometimes, but the functionality of how you lay out something on a plate, because if you really think about some of the ways you can go about it, you can have it to where you can really destroy something and have it just not be something that it started out artfully, but you try to go after it. Okay, you know how chefs will take the ingredients and kind of line it on the edge of the plate in like a half moon kind of thing, right? I mean, that's very new. That's like nouvelle cuisine.
And often they will take a spoonful of sauce and like with their thumb, they just drag it across the plate.
You can use a thumb. You wouldn't use your thumb. Probably a spoon or some type of spatula. There's different ways to be very creative. And I really think that it's important to have some artistic play on the plate, but it just has to be functional. Even when just going back to like just plating, one of the things I never do is put something on the plate that's inedible. Inedible garnish, like a rosemary sprig. What do you do with that? You just take that, set it off to the side. I mean, it looks good in the beginning, but how functional is it?
Yeah.
You just have to keep that stuff in mind. But artful plates make people go, wow, this is beautiful. I don't want to mess it up, but let them mess it up and let them enjoy the flavors.
So if you're taking the Chef Bear approach and you're going to prepare one of your dishes, are you thinking the latter, the art form approach? So like, how would you position the lamb, carrots, and pea flan on your, but what would the pea flan be in?
Well, there's a couple ways I can do that. I can actually bake that in a silicone mold and have it be an oval shape, and then let it cool, pop it out.
Pop it out of the silicone mold.
Yep. And then at that point, if it's firm, if it's firm enough for you to, then if you're going to maybe brown it in a pan,
wow,
just brown it in a pan, and maybe the flat side that comes out, you brown that. But then when you serve it on its round side, so where it's somewhat stable, but you see the brown part on the top.
Yeah.
And then the flan is just round on the bottom. But then you can lean that up against your lamb loin that you've deboned, and you've got maybe 2 lamb loin pieces next to each other, and then the flan sitting up against it, because it's going to teeter because it's rounded, but you can still see the rounded part, which is the most important part. And then the carrots you could have to where they're, the baby carrots, and they got the multicolored one and stuff like that, but cut in half, like I said, how I presented
lengthwise,
exactly, and how I would have prepared it before, whether they're pickled or what have you, and then grilled. But the base of it, or the head where the greens come out, that's on the plate, and then the rest of the carrot is pointing straight up across the lamb and touching the flan as well.
That
would be how I would go about it.
I think you did an excellent job. I mean, you and I are in the same field, so I get it. I hope the listeners do. What is the deal with microgreens on everything? Every picture I see, every chef of every restaurant I go to, there's microgreens on it. I mean, I like microgreens.
Well, back in the day, the thing was, if you wanted to make your plate pretty, you just put balsamic vinegar on.
Well, I have a slash. I have a slash in this question: microgreens / balsamic reduction.
That used to be the thing. Well, microgreens, if you know your microgreens, there are ways to utilize microgreens
100%
because of their flavor profile that complement your food. Now, is it a go-to just to put some on just because you have microgreens, just like balsamic reduction? I don't think so. I think you should learn what microgreens, what flavor they actually bring to the plate, the color, and what it means to actually have it, make your plate from
enhance
okay to
it,
wow,
right?
Whatever.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, as long as it works.
As long as it works.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's bull's blood, which is a baby micro beetroot.
I used it recently.
You've got micro cilantro. And there's just rainbow mixes. I like to use like rainbow mixes, which have, maybe 3 or 4 different types of microgreens in a mix, in like a red sorrel salad that has maybe some shea fennel and a white balsamic vinaigrette that goes with a watermelon salad that I'm doing, a pressed watermelon salad.
Yeah.
But there's ways to use microgreens as a salad, to use it as a garnish. I'll just be very mindful of the flavor that it brings to your plate.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, microgreens are great. There's a lot of good local companies now that are popping up here.
Oh, Microlead, and I'm so embarrassed. I'm going to forget his
name.
Oh
yeah,
right
you gave
now.
me that connection, and I've been up there a couple times.
Oh, what is his name? I'm going to announce it later because he deserves it. Great business person. He's passionate about his farm, Microlead and Farm, where he does a lot of cool microgreens and also baby lettuce.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got great baby lettuce.
Actually, we had talked about doing something together, like a pop-up or something.
You would be perfect for that. Oscar Chavez. He's the owner of Microlead and Farms out in Conway. Great guy. Great product.
Yeah, I'm going out. We're gonna do that.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've talked to him.
Yeah.
And I will reach out to him.
Since we're on the topic of visuals, I think this is another decent segue. This world of the influencer. Now, you and I talked briefly about it before we came on the air. How do you feel about that world? I'll just set it up this way. I feel like sometimes that hobbyists who, they'll take a picture of, their dish at dinner when they're out with their husband or whatever, and they post it on Facebook, and, they slowly start to gain followers, not even realizing that, and they're not trained in the culinary arts. They just happen to like this food, and then all of a sudden they try to turn it into a business, which I don't begrudge anybody from trying to do that. My feeling is that very often some of these people know nothing about food, certainly not like the way you and I were trained.
Well, I think that there's good and bad in how you can go about doing anything.
That's a great point. Yeah.
And there's some great influencers out there. There's ones that you think about what they do, and it's like, why do you even get up in the morning?
Yeah.
But I haven't had a lot of experience with any particular influencer. I mean, I've watched a few. I may have the opportunity to have Jess and Keith come to one of my pop-ups, which I plan on doing with another business owner in Myrtle Beach.
They're real big. I've asked them to come on a couple times.
Yeah, I think they're filming like every day. I mean, I don't know how they do it, but
they'll eventually come in to kiss the ring.
Well, maybe I'll talk to them too if I get a chance to connect with them.
Kidding.
But as far as influencers go, I mean, I think it serves a purpose. And it's a sign of the times this day. I mean, social media is just, it runs everything now.
Yeah.
And you
make a great point. It's a very simple point, but you're absolutely right. There's good and bad.
Yeah. You hope that those that you come in contact with, if you have a restaurant, if you have a business, and some influencer wants to come and highlight your business for whatever reason, just ask the right questions as to what they plan on doing to help better your business. And it shouldn't be too much of a financial burden on you.
Right.
Because you know where this goes, where you were just mentioning it earlier about how on the front end, hey, I can come and enhance your business, and I'll show up and I've got 10 zillion followers and everybody likes me and they'll love to see me at your place. But on the back end, they should not be asking you for like $500 every time they show up.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, some unscrupulous people out there. You just got to be careful.
Yeah. Great stuff. What is next for Chef Bear? Now, I know a little bit, and if I can just set this one up too, what's very, very interesting, not just about your experience, how well you cook and your plate presentation is still beautiful, but how, and this happens in every business, I guess, every life, that when we first met, you had ideas about a restaurant. Mm-hmm. That's where you were pushing to. And in a mere, 6-8 months, you've gone in a different direction, which is really cool as well. If you could explain what it is that you're doing now and actually how people can get in touch with you.
Well, just getting started with this in the beginning, I had no idea what it was going to evolve into. I was, just coming out of a restaurant and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make a name for myself in this area by doing pop-ups where I just curate a 4 or 5 course menu and people buy tickets to it. And I'm going to get back to that. But in the beginning, it was really a marketing thing. And my whole goal was for someone to notice me and go, man, this guy needs a restaurant.
Yeah, you had to get your name out there.
Yeah, exactly. But right now, I'll just kind of push to where I'm at right now. For the next 30 days, I probably have 14 parties booked.
In how many days?
In the next 30 days.
Wow.
Plus I have maybe 4 or 5 inquiries that I have to go over.
That you have to turn down?
Right now, I'm so just happy with being able to cook for people, curate menus, and just be creative every time I do it. That's an exciting thing for me right now.
And it's very important for the listeners to hear this because so often people will hire caterers, even for small events, and those caterers might have a standard handful of menus. If you're hiring Chef Curtis Hillard, Chef Bear, your menu is going to be unique.
Yeah, and what I find is, like if I have a party like less than 10, instead of having one app, one entree, I will have it to where you can have a choice of the chi crab soup and the pistachio pear salad.
Yeah.
And then there's a grouper dish and a short rib. And then there's maybe 2 desserts. I've actually done a trio of desserts that are all just smaller.
Nice.
Even for a plate up. And what gives the client an opportunity to have their guest have what they want and not have to have that beef just because that's the menu.
Just because, yeah.
So having that freedom to do that, and also being able to create things that aren't the normal fare that's around here. I'm trying to give people an opportunity, if they want, to have an experience as if you were in Charleston or Atlanta or Chicago or New York and bring it to your home. I'm actually talking right now with Chris Conklin at Seven Seas.
Yeah.
And we're going to do a pop-up cookout, just either
at Seven Seas?
Either at the Georgetown location or the Murrells Inlet location. And it's just us getting together and setting up. I got a 10 by 20 tent. I would make a really nice setup to where you just pull up, we'll announce it ahead of time. You pull up and I'm doing hush puppies and I can do beignets and we can have, low country boil going. We can have oyster roast going. Then I can also have short rib bites wrapped in bacon, mac and cheese bites. We can put together a menu that, is incredible. And it's not something that's usual for this area. So I'm trying to create some events.
So what if somebody came to you and said, look, there's 12, 14 of us, we're not the 5-star type of diners. We just like simple stuff. Can you put something together for us?
I just had actually a book club, 12 ladies. All they wanted was beef empanadas, a charcuterie board, and then also they had some mac and cheese bites.
Nice.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I just dropped it off. And then the next day I came in and got my board from her.
But then you can also do the other end of the spectrum. You could do a high-end, bougie 5-star
If it has to do with food and you celebrating anything, call me.
That's
706-982-5853.
Say that again.
706-982-5853. Or Curtis at chefbearcooking.net, my email. It's been a really good ride, and I just want to make it the best I can every step of the way.
Well, I'll tell you something. In the few short months, I have watched you go from virtually unknown to all over the social media pages.
If you're interested at all in what I do, I put a lot of stuff on our Facebook group pages, just so people can get an idea of what I'm doing more than anything. And if you want a cooking class or you want to learn how to do something, those are options too. So I'm just trying to be as versatile as possible.
And that is Chef Bear. And what jumped out at me is what he said at the end is that he's accommodating. He'll do anything across the food spectrum. He's a good, decent guy, and he's a great chef. So give him a call if you need him. And coming up after the break, a 68-year-old lady who just started at the Culinary Institute, HGTC International Culinary Academy. She's coming up right after the break. Stick around. She's really cool. And welcome back, folks, to Talking About Food. A very, very interesting chef in the studio today. Yeah, you're a chef.
No, not a chef.
There's a big argument as to not between my guest.
Are we starting already, Richard?
Yeah, right. We're starting already. There's a big argument as to in the field as to when you're a chef and when you're not. So anyway, I think she's a chef. Her name is Laura Smith, and she is a student at HGTC International Culinary Academy. And there's something a little bit different than most of the students there, and that she's slightly older, definitely more experienced worldly than most.
Mature.
Yeah, I can use that, but we haven't talked long enough to know if you're real mature. If we start making silly jokes, then we'll see. Laura Smith, welcome to Talking About Food.
Thank you, Chef, and thank you for having me.
You bet. Thanks for coming in. First of all, you're not originally from the area. How did you end up in the Grand Strand?
Oh, my goodness. Okay, long story short, I was born and raised in Philadelphia, spent most of my time at the beach, at Jersey Shore. It's the shore in the Northeast. It's the beach down here. But I met my husband, who lived in upstate New York. It was easier for me to move up there. Stayed there for about 12 years. I said, can't do this anymore. Too much snow, too cold, taxes. I just don't like it. I said, I'm going to the beach. I don't know where you're going. And we wound up here. And I've been here 22 years.
Now, I did say that you were older, more mature than most of the students. Are you okay to give your age? I think it's such a great selling point for the school. If you're uncomfortable with it, I know you're never supposed to ask a woman her age.
I know, but it's okay. It's already been printed in my Ori News. So I will be 68 next month.
Well, first of all, you certainly don't look it. And by the type of work that you do, I say work at the school, you're studying there, but it's hard work.
It's extremely hard work.
Yeah. And we'll get to that. In this article that I read about you, you said you call this your third life. What did you do in lives 1 and 2?
Well, my first life, I was a hotel, restaurant, bar manager.
Yeah.
And did that for a very long time in upstate New York, and went back to college, received my master's degree in taxation.
Oh.
So then I went into accounting and taxation and all that and became an agent for the and then retired about 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Said, I can't do this anymore. I'm done. I want to travel.
Yeah, and you did the tax work here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I also did it in upstate New York for quite a while too.
Yeah.
And then came down here and continued that career.
Right. So you took some time off. You wanted to travel. Did you do that?
No. I lasted 1 month at home being retired. My
Yeah.
husband was already retired.
Yeah.
I said, I can't do this. I can't do this.
Yeah.
So I had heard about the school, and I would take some CPE courses in the evenings or on the weekends or
Right.
things like that in between, my job, my regular job. And I met up with the chefs, especially Chef Wilson Louie. And also there's a Chef Dante.
Mm-hmm.
And I did some classes with him, and they would tease me. Oh, you need to come full time. You need to come full time. And I'm like, no, I can't do that. It's too hard. It's too much work. I'm having fun doing this. Well, after that retirement in that 1 month, I went, South Carolina is awesome with their lottery money. And I found out that I could go back to school and it would be free.
Wow.
So I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going back.
So that's kind of what convinced you to do it. I read that your father was a chef and a baker.
He was. Yep. That was not his career, though. That was a passion.
Right. But do you think that was a heavy influence on you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My father and I cooked all the time.
Yeah.
From the time I was 2 years old, could stand in front of a stove and stir a pot.
What's one of the dishes that you immediately remember he used to do that you loved?
We call it poulet basquez.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a chicken and wine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But you know who we got the recipe from?
No.
Graham Kerr.
Oh, wow. I used to watch him.
Yes.
Yeah, that's when...
was our favorite.
That's when food shows were still good.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
First ingredient, pour yourself a glass of wine.
Right. But also, he baked as well.
Yes. Yeah, he was a pastry chef when he was very, very young.
Yeah. What are some of the desserts you remember?
Gosh. I don't remember desserts so much. I really...
Is there something wrong with you?
No.
Do you have first of all, we'll jump ahead for a second. Do you have a sweet tooth?
Not really.
Okay, there's the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you cooked in the galley of a riverboat in
Yes.
New York.
Yes.
I read in the article that it was home style.
It was.
What were some of the things you prepared?
It was like soup, sandwiches, salads. It was nothing...
But homemade.
Yeah, it was homemade stuff.
You made homemade food.
Well,
But here's the thing. See, this is super impressive to me because we're both in the business.
Yeah.
I cooked one time in the galley on a Gulfstream 5 airplane, right? But I've also done it once or twice, more than that, on a boat. It's like working in a closet.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, we did a lot of prep work in the main kitchen,
even
obviously,
so,
you know, and then had to cart it onto the
Yeah.
boat. And this was on the Mohawk River.
Yeah.
It was a sightseeing tour.
Do you think you have a different view of food now than you did when you're younger, minus the culinary school?
Yes. My tastes have changed.
In what way?
I'm more particular
As you got older.
as I got older. Absolutely. And because of what I was exposed to. I traveled with my parents, to Europe when I was younger, and I was exposed to it then.
Yeah.
And then obviously raising a family, went back to traditional basic foods.
Right.
And then
How many kids?
4.
Wow, you did some cooking.
2 boys, 2 girls.
Yeah.
Yes.
I often say the only difference between me, the private chef, and you, the home cook, not you, but people who are home cooks, is I got a paycheck at the end of the week. Yeah. That's hard cooking. What people don't realize about the private chef world, and often what people don't realize about the private chef world, and we're often looked down upon by restaurant chefs. The assumption is that you couldn't handle a restaurant kitchen, so you took the easy route. But we have to prepare a different menu every single day. As a matter of fact, when I opened Flame Pizzeria, people were coming to me and saying, boy, this must be a lot harder than what you used to do. And I said, heck no, I cook off the same menu every single day. Because the hardest thing, in my opinion, about being in the food business is not the actual cooking, but the creation. Do you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I struggle with it every day now.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking about, what am I going to do tonight? I have nothing at the house.
Yeah.
What am I going to cook tonight? Well, I've got a couple things going around in my head, and then I get to the store and it's like, oh, wait a minute. This is on sale. Oh.
All of
can
a
I do?
sudden, you're
Yeah, I'm
changing your menu.
changing.
Right.
Yes. And it's only two of us that I'm
Yeah.
cooking for.
Yeah.
I struggle with it every day. I go to bed at night.
Yeah.
That's all I think about. Okay, what am I cooking for dinner tomorrow night? And now that I'm retired and I have more time, it creates even more anxiety.
Yeah. Yeah, because you have to create something
I do.
every single day. I'll never forget Mel Gibson's wife told me when she told me I was hired, she said that I was her only luxury that she afforded herself, because now she didn't have to think about what she had to cook every single day. So how did your taste change over the years?
Maybe more particular or more focused on a particular style. I don't do fried food anymore.
Yeah. Why is that?
For
health or
Yes.
for taste?
Both.
Yeah.
Both. So I prefer the fresher food.
Yeah.
Much fresher food. When I went to Italy, the farm to table thing I'm all up in it. And I feel better eating that way.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I also think that's a current trend too. It's a trend.
Tell me more about that, because you struck a nerve with me. What is the trend that you feel? And I'm not disagreeing with you.
I think that's the buzzword now. Farm to table, fresh. It's thrown in your face
Yeah.
all the time. Look at all of these food subscriptions.
Yeah.
What's the first thing they say?
Yeah. Farm to table.
Farm to table and fresh. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah. My question all the time is, and listeners can't take this the wrong way, I want small businesses and small local businesses to do as well as they possibly can. But when I hear buy local,
It's not local.
well, that's part two. But part one is, if I can't get good stuff, I have to know where I can get it. And I'm sorry to say, if I can't get it locally, I'm going to source it, which is another big word. The other big word that I hear all the time, we could do a whole show on this, Laura, is
Buzzwords.
curated. Ooh, doesn't that make us sound so great? But anyway, yeah, I agree with you on that.
Local, when the grocery store say local, and I know this from my husband, who worked in the grocery store for a very long time, local is a 50-mile radius or more.
Yeah.
So they say local blueberries, for instance.
Yeah.
If blueberries aren't in season, you're promoting local blueberries. Where are you going to get them?
Right.
Wherever they're being grown at the time.
Yeah.
I don't know when blueberries are good. I have no idea. That's not my thing.
I was shopping for a client who had a home in Connecticut, and I went to the local Whole Foods. I asked the produce manager, I said, I'm just curious, what percentage of your produce here is organic? And he said, about 55%. And if you're led to believe, I think you're led to believe that when you're going into a, quote, organic grocery store, that 90% would be organic, but they're all set up beautifully, and they're always decorated in a fashion that leads you to believe that it's organic, if that is your prerogative.
Yes, we could go down a whole another rabbit hole with that.
The other thing, too, is I used to shop at this, one of the best seafood markets in all of Los Angeles. And once again, I asked the manager, who I got to know, I said, this halibut says local. What does local mean? Now, you were saying 50 miles for blueberries. He said anything from San Francisco to San Diego. You're talking about
Hundreds of miles.
5-hour car ride.
Right.
So, yeah, it's funny stuff. Is cooking an art?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
For me, I think it is.
Yeah. So, and I'm on the fence about this. I've said this a number of times that I'm on the fence of it. So when I ask you questions, it's not so much to challenge your position as to help mine. So does it at a certain point not become an art if you go to a place for a hot dog and they put the hot dog on the bun and they top it with sauerkraut and put it in a paper boat and hand it to you? Is that art?
It may be that person's art.
Yeah.
I think it's an interpretive thing. For me, it's taking a blank slate, saute pan, sauce pot, whatever, putting all these ingredients together and creating something that I'm proud of.
Right.
And everybody's is different. I mean, you may be given the same ingredients. I know it's a television show, but look at Chopped. Everybody's given the same ingredients.
No, go ahead.
No.
I'm kidding.
But
Yeah.
the analogy is everybody's given the same ingredients, but you get 4 different interpretations, and each one is their own art.
Okay.
That's what I'm not good at. And I'm going to mention a chef's name, Chef Medrano. Bless her heart. I love her to death. She is at the school.
Okay.
She is in the Fowler dining room. It's plating. I haven't learned that yet. I don't have that artsy part
Right.
in plating. And that's where I'm.
And it's interesting that you say that, because if I was ever convinced that cooking is an art, it would be plate presentation.
That's because that's your first thing,
Yeah.
is looking at, does it look inviting?
Right.
Does it look inviting?
Yeah.
I mean, again, 4 different plates, but if it doesn't look inviting, no, I'm not going to eat that.
Yeah, and I've said a million times on here, I use this phrase about walking a thin line with plate presentation, that one side could be, sloppy, sort of, rustic. Not that rustic is sloppy,
but I know what you
one end of it to the other end that looks like a piece of modern art.
But that could taste terrible, and the one that's rustic is phenomenal.
That's my point.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my point.
Agreed.
What do you think? Because we mentioned the food television scene. You have any thoughts on the social media, quote, food influencer scene?
I know nothing about it. I am so lacking in social media. I am not on Facebook. I never will be. TikTok, any of that kind of stuff. I don't even understand how to use it. I do have Instagram, but I only look at it. Mm-hmm. That's all. Because somebody told me I had to load it on my phone and I have to look.
You have to, right? Yeah,
right. You have to.
I hear
you
that
have to be
all
a
the
part
time.
of that. And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Well, if you're not a part of social media, then you're not in the know.
Well, the reason why I ask is because, in my opinion, it somewhat ties into my previous question about it being art, that so many people post pictures on Instagram or Facebook or whatever that lure you, and there's obvious reason for it, is to get your attention and help bring you to different food establishments. And then what I've come to find out is I'll end up going to one of those and it's nothing like the picture. And then I find out that sometimes, not always, maybe most, I don't know factually, but they're being paid for it. They're being paid to take beautiful pictures of food in a specific restaurant, and then they're either paid for it or they barter and have, free dinners or whatever.
Is it really food or is it painted? Or is it fake stuff just to entice you?
Well, sometimes some of the restaurants that I've been to, I don't know where those photographs were being taken. What are some of your favorite restaurants on the Grand Strand?
If I didn't say it previously, I don't go out to eat that much.
What about some of the hot spots that are, I know you said you don't go out that much, and believe it or not, I don't go out that much either.
I don't even know where the hot spots are.
Yeah.
Because I very
That's because
rarely
you don't
go up
watch
in
the
the beach.
influencers.
I don't even
And
know
that's
where.
okay. But you mentioned one, I think, before we went on the air. It was a Mexican place.
El Chepo.
Yeah. You like that?
Yes. Extremely good food.
Yeah. Would you say that it's
Pretty authentic Mexican restaurant.
yeah, what do you get there? What do you like?
Oh, the pork.
Carnitas?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How good is that? When it's good, man, it's good. Yeah.
And homemade, or handmade tortillas.
Yeah.
And but I am not a hot, spicy person.
Uh-huh.
But I did try the 2 sauces that they put on the table. I thought I was going to die.
You mean because they were so hot or they were so good?
They are so hot.
Yeah.
For me,
Yeah.
for my taste buds.
Right.
But I had to try it because I'm a student chef. And one of the things you have to do the whole time you're cooking is you have to taste. Whether you think you're going to like it or not, you must taste.
Do you have a specific style of food that you like to eat?
Yes.
What is that?
Asian.
Really?
Yes.
You have a Chinese restaurant that you know of?
Well, no.
Because there's one up in Myrtle Beach that I like. I've talked about it a couple times because I studied in Hong Kong for a summer, and Asian has always been my favorite style of food. It's called dumplings and seafood. The dumplings are okay, but their regular dishes are
I've never.
are pretty good. Do you like Japanese food? You like Thai?
Yes, some of each of
Right.
those. Yes.
Yeah. Any Thai restaurants or Japanese that you've been to here?
Years ago,
Oh, okay.
used to go to Miyabi's,
Yeah.
and it was good. Now it's completely different.
Yeah. So you said earlier on that you're very particular about what you like to eat, and I'm assuming that you do most of the cooking at home.
All of the cooking.
All of the cooking. Is he easy to please?
Oh my gosh, my husband would be. He's very, very easy.
Yeah.
But his palate has changed, especially since I've gone to school now.
You spoiled him.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
he'll tell you that. He's
Yeah.
told the chefs that.
Yeah.
He's completely spoiled now.
Okay, because I wanted to stop you there. And now you can't say ramen. What is the dish that you and maybe your husband love that you'd be embarrassed for other chefs to know?
I knew this question was coming.
And it's my favorite part of the show.
I think you asked Chef Bonaparte that too.
Yeah, I ask them all. And I can zero in on somebody who's trying to tap dance. I want something that is really flippin' embarrassing.
Oh gosh, I really have to think about that, to be quite honest with you. But on a night that I'm not cooking for whatever reasons, my husband is perfectly happy with either ramen noodles, fish sticks, and French fries. He's happy with that.
Okay.
For me, it would just be a bag of salad. I'm a salad girl, so I would just do an open bag of salad. But lately, I've discovered pulled pork nachos.
Explain that.
It's not anything that I make. It's all bought ingredients.
That's beautiful. So hold on a second.
Okay.
So you got to break it down. So I've eaten in restaurants where I've literally spent $300 a person, and this is what excites me the most. So explain the breakdown, the ingredients, and how and where you get them from.
Okay. I normally shop at Food Lion because I happen to like their prices. I like their food.
Yeah.
And it's basically price. Anyway, bag of their tortilla chips.
Okay.
That
store brand.
Store brand.
Yep.
Yeah. Bag of those. I bought the jar of Food Lion
Yeah.
chili con salsa.
Yeah.
Okay. I bought the pulled pork, the tub of pulled pork. What is it?
It's in a plastic tub.
Yeah. Is it Lloyd's or somebody?
Yeah, Lloyd's.
Lloyd's. That's it. Okay. Are you ready? But
I just love this.
I make my own coleslaw because I am very particular about my coleslaw.
Okay.
So I make my own coleslaw and a bottle of Sweet Baby Ray's honey barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
Okay. So chips, melted cheese, pulled pork,
What kind of cheese?
the chili con. It's melted.
like the liquid
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Oh, that's
Like-
even better.
Yeah.
That's even more disgusting. That is great.
I know, but you melt it and melt
Yeah.
it on the, right?
Yeah.
With the pulled pork, with the coleslaw on top, and drizzle it with sweet baby.
Coleslaw on top of that.
And then drizzle with sweet baby Ray's.
I know what I'm having for dinner tonight. I just had a discussion. My wife went out. I said, I'll shop for dinner tonight. I know what I'm getting. I'm going to get that. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And then what do you throw it in the oven or the broiler?
Yeah. Just to kind of melt things down. Yeah.
Oh, that is fantastic. Wow.
But it's,
Do me a favor. I've had students on here before. I've had Chef Joe Bonaparte, the executive director of the International Culinary Academy, on talking about this topic, but it needs to be said more. Can you tell the listeners about some of the amazing things that HGTC offers?
well, as I said in the beginning, for those of us who are of the mature age,
39.
and have achieved that, tuition free is tuition free.
After what age?
I believe it's 62.
Oh, is that right?
I think so. Don't quote me on that. Don't quote me, because I'm well over that. Obviously, I stayed at 68. They have, and so even if you're a young student, there are so much money out there. The problem is you have to ask for it. You have to apply for it. You have to put some time into it. And the chefs are constantly pushing that and letting you know.
Especially now when so often the topic in the young generation is
I can't afford it.
you can't afford it, and I it's killing me paying back these loans.
No.
Right? You don't have to do that.
No. Do well. You must do well. You must present yourself. And you need to ask.
Yeah.
They're afraid to ask for money.
So if you're over 62, you can basically go there for free. If you're under that, if you're a young person coming out of high school or whatever, you don't necessarily know what direction you want to go, but you love cooking, you love everything about it. You have this sort of thing in your blood that's kind of pushing you in that direction. Like Laura said, go to the school and talk to them and ask. It may be actually be covered financially.
We give tours. There's
Yeah.
tours all the time.
That's great.
All the time. Come anytime you want. Anybody will be happy to give you a tour, tell you all about it. Sit in on a class, shadow a class or something like that.
And once you're in the school, they offer these fantastic culinary trips. Tell the listeners about that.
Again, it's not given, it's earned. You have to be in good standing. You have to show that you want it. You have to be responsible, respectful, all of that, the typical things. But I have been to Italy and I have been to France, and they also had a trip to Austria. I did not go on that one. That's more baking and pastry, and I'm not focused on that.
Yeah.
Amazing trips.
Wow.
It's a culinary trip. We do some sightseeing on the side, but it's mainly culinary trip. The chef's focus is to immerse you into the culinary experience of a different country.
Right.
You are encouraged to eat and taste and try.
And on top of all of that, I don't think I have ever met a chef instructor who is more passionate about his students than Chef Joe Bonaparte.
Absolutely.
Unbelievable.
He is food 24/7. 24/7. He is about food. He's about the school. He's about the students. And he's there to help you. He's not unapproachable at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. I think some of the younger students are intimidated. Oh my God, that's Chef Bonaparte. He is wonderful.
Yeah. He's a great, great man.
Mm-hmm.
So you said Lives 1 and 2. What is in store for Laura Smith after you graduate?
Everybody keeps asking me that question. And my general answer is, do I have to do anything? Do I have to do something? Do I have to have a plan? Do I have to have a goal or whatever? At this point, I am wide open. I'm a sponge. I've always been a student. I've always been a student. I love learning every single day. And you can learn every single day if you allow yourself to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know what I want to do. Although after talking to you, private
Yeah.
chefing part-time would be awesome.
Yeah. I know in Los Angeles, that's where the money was.
Do not want to work on a line. Absolutely positive.
Yeah.
And the chefs know that. I absolutely do not. I like doing catering events. I've been involved with the food and wine festivals in Charleston. It's actually coming up again in November. I will be going. I've been to the Florence Food and Wine Festival twice, actually worked in the restaurant there and have become great friends with the chefs there. In fact, they'd like to hire me, but that's not going to happen.
Well, you won't work on a line.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I will tell you this, and I know I've known you for about an hour, and I know that whatever is next, it won't be sitting around. That's for sure.
No, sir.
That is Laura Smith. She is a fascinating woman with a fascinating background. She goes to HGTC International Culinary Academy at the young age of 68. So any of you youngsters out there who are in their 40s and think that it's too late, guess what? It ain't. Laura Smith, thank you so much for coming in to talk about food, and I hope you will come back.
If you'll have me, absolutely. It was wonderful.
We've got a lot to talk about. And that's going to just about wrap up episode 39. How about that Chef Bear, huh? Don't forget, hey, if you're going to be doing any type of entertaining, you want a personal chef for the evening, an event catered, he's the guy for you. He can do it all, from the easiest to the most complex. So give him a call at Chef Bear, 706-982-5853, or you can contact him at chefbearcooking.com. And also, don't forget Laura Smith, great gal, studying over at the Horry Georgetown Technical College International Culinary Academy at the age of 68. There's nothing stopping her. Remember, she mentioned El Chepo. I think that's Socastee or Myrtle Beach, can't remember. El Chepo Mexican restaurant. And frankly, I think I'm going to go and make some of those pulled pork nachos that she talked about. She made me hungry. And hey, you guys can do that too tonight, because I know you can handle it, because you are your family's private chef. Thanks so much for listening.